When you stay at a Vrbo, the host doesn't stay with you. Because a vacation home with a stranger sounds a little bit like a horror movie. Only whole vacation homes. Always private. Book on the Vrbo app.
What's up, guys? Back for another episode of the Shamrocks Sportscast here. My name is Evan. I'm joined by my partner, Aiden McNally. We have a couple special guests in the booth, which we'll get to in a minute. Real quick, though, you might be noticing, why is Evan doing the sign-on for this episode? And that's because Sam Mefford is not here. He's doing some promotional stuff with the Rock TV crew, so he will be absent for this episode. But I am the MC role now, so I guess I'll start the conversations. Right here in the booth, we have Trey Buchanan and Sam Bishop, members of the boys basketball team. Boys, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Trey.
I'm Sam.
All
Happy
right.
to be here.
We're happy to have you. So, first question here. Which game are you most excited for this upcoming season?
I mean, you always got to go with Carmel, especially playing at Carmel.
Yeah.
Good crowd after Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a fun one.
I would have to say our first game against Kokomo because I feel like that's going to really determine what the rest of our season looks
Revenge game.
especially playing the team that knocked us out of the playoffs last year. So
About Kokomo, are you guys? Do you guys have any fire behind this game? Motivation?
I would say for sure. At least me. Obviously, we graduated 8 seniors, so it's really me, Bishop, and Alex Romack are the only guys that
Are returning.
really kind of have beef with this team after they kicked us out last year. But I would say for us, definitely, it's kind of a revenge game for us.
Definitely.
Which game is Sumter stressing the most about so far this season?
I would say it's game by game. So I would say Kokomo right now. You'll go up the list through the season. So
Yeah, just one game at a time.
yeah.
Has the locker room changed ever since the 8 seniors or 9 seniors or however many it was departed?
It has, yeah. It's been it's sad though. I love the 8 seniors, but we're trying to get everything back together and, still vibing with music and stuff like that. But we'll never be the same with the 8 seniors gone.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely a little less characters in the group without the 8 seniors and a lot of younger guys. So, but we still try to have a lot of fun and get to know each other pretty well. So
Yeah.
Sam, for you specifically, since you're a senior this year, are you stepping up to be the locker room voice, the senior leader, since all those seniors departed?
Yeah. Me and Romack and I will hopefully, and Trey, of course, will be leading the people in the locker room. And, yeah, it'll be a fun year.
So last year, let's go back to the first Carmel game. What were your reactions to that? And I don't know, I guess walk me through the preparation for that game, the first Carmel game.
first Carmel game, I would say, preparation-wise, I feel like it was really because it was on a back-to-back. It was after we
It was a Saturday, right?
Yeah, it was a Saturday. And we had very little preparation. Obviously, we just, had a practice that morning. And it was kind of just it's the Saturday games, especially on back-to-backs after, Friday games.
They're tough.
Are always just, tough because you have
You have a
little
couple of those
preparation.
this year.
Yeah.
We definitely have a couple. And I would say, in one practice, and, the morning practice is usually only, an hour and a half, too. So it was really just, we're just kind of sticking to what we know and going to that game. I think we're definitely more prepared for the second Carmel game, but just because we had time. But I think that game was kind of just to go out there and just try to outplay
Just ball
them.
out, yeah.
In that morning practice before the Carmel game on that same day, what were you guys working on?
I mean, just the normal stuff. It was just preparing for it and going through film and all that.
Yeah.
So
We'd usually do a lot of film, on the teams, because that's where we could just learn the most about them. And then we usually just do some shooting stuff, and then maybe run through some plays against them, and just as much preparation as possible as we could get in that short amount of time.
Who is your favorite team to play against?
I got to go Noblesville
Yeah.
because I know a lot of kids on there. And that was my first game when Braden last year got kind of a couple games before that, he got injured. And that's the first game I actually played pretty well in and started to. Yeah.
You were balling out that game.
Yeah,
You had a couple
appreciate
threes, yeah.
I would say Homestead, because we played them twice last year. Just because I thought their defense wasn't as good, so there's just a lot of scoring opportunities. and you're obviously playing against a really good player in Fletcher Lawyer, so it wasn't just some like toss away team. Like it was good competition.
Yeah.
So I thought those games were pretty fun.
With Homestead, I remember, I think you guys played them in like the first 5 games of the season.
Yeah,
I think
something
In
like
the
last year.
Southport tournament. I think.
Yeah. So you played them relatively quickly in your season. What was it like losing them the first time, but then beating them in sectionals and moving on to
Regionals.
regionals?
Yeah, I mean, there's no better feeling than that.
Yeah.
I mean, getting the redemption you wanted, yeah, and beating 2 teammates, Braden and Fletcher. I mean, Braden got I think, better playing out of that. So,
Yeah, I would say I think the first game we didn't play as well, and like even though we lost, like I think everyone in the locker room knew like we can beat this team. Like it's not like something like Cathedral where it's like, all right, we really gotta like. I mean, obviously you really gotta prep for Homestead.
Yeah.
But like I just felt like that first time we played them in Southport, like no one really played well at all, and so when we saw them in regionals, like no one was really scared to go up against them. We were pretty confident we could come out with the win. So.
What is both of your game day routines? Or what were they last year, and how do you think they'll compare to this year?
I mean, it's the same every year. I just go normally on a Saturday, go home, sleep in, make some eggs and bagels, you know, get in the car, listen to some 21. Now probably 21 and Drake's new album.
Can never go
Just
wrong.
yeah,
Savage.
that's what I'm saying. Then just head to the locker, vibe more, and get prepared.
Really calm day before the game, I
It
see.
is, yeah.
I just remember my pregame last year was I literally would get Subway before like every single game.
I remember
know
that.
Evan and Bishop
Yeah.
know that. I might switch it up this year and go with something new, but I mean, for the first part of the day, just waking up, obviously I just eat breakfast like Bishop said, play some music just to get me fired up for the day, and
Yeah.
yeah, I might change up my pregame meal this year a little bit. We'll see.
Don't be like AC and get a foot long Jimmy John's.
Just like
Yeah.
throw up on the court.
Yeah.
What's better, Jimmy John's or Subway?
Jimmy John's, no question.
Uh,
You gotta go
I-
to Subway.
I might have to go with Subway.
Yeah.
Who is the best shooter on the team? This might cause some controversy, but who's the best shooter on the team?
There's no question.
I think
Trey.
Rauk, to be honest. I think Rauk,
not
Rauk
Trey.
really shot it really well this like off season. I think the summer workouts he's played really well, and I just think that he'll definitely be our sharpshooter coming off the bench this year.
Yeah, Rauk. I mean, people don't know who he is, but he's different. He'll probably come off. I don't know what number off the bench, but yeah, he'll probably. Some games he'll have triple double, double double, you know, all that. But yeah, he's ready, prepared.
2 things. 1, Trey was just being really modest. We all know it's him. 2, Rauk was very much a leader on the team last year, and I think he'll show it. I feel like he'll fill. I don't want to say an Alex Wolf type role on the bench this year, but he'll get everyone fired up and stuff. So
Definitely.
he'll certainly be very important to this team, whether he's starting or he's number 7 on the bench.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you guys are both stepping into bigger roles than you were playing last year. What have you guys done over the offseason to prepare for that?
Yeah, just playing a lot of AAU and training. Yeah, pretty much. But kind of sucked how I got mono in July,
That's
so
right,
my
yeah,
AAU season was kind of gone, and
Yikes.
yeah, lost like 20 pounds and got to get all that back before season. But.
Yeah, I would say the AAU team I played for last year was really good for me because I was like probably the best player on the team, and so it allowed me to kind of develop leadership towards my teammates and be like that guy on the team.
Gain that
which I'll have
confidence.
which I'll have to be this year, and obviously with Bishop and Romack, but definitely stepping into that new role was definitely helped by this offseason, this AAU, just training like he said, and obviously just playing as much AAU as possible.
Tell us a story about the funniest moment in the locker room that you've encountered so far.
Like this year or last year?
Just
as well?
at any point in time.
I'm going to go with Alex Wolf. Every Alex Wolf and D-Pass, like, they argue the most out of anybody. It's the funniest thing. That's probably the most minimal. Yeah, and I'm just – it's sad talking about them because you miss it in the locker room.
Yeah.
Because they used to have, before games, they used to, like, hide their keys and, like, one – I probably shouldn't be saying this, but – So Alex hid Nick's keys
Yeah.
It's
one
definitely my
game.
favorite.
Then Nick, Nick.
Yeah.
You gotta get it like Alex back.
Yeah.
Worse.
Revenge.
Yeah. So
It's one-upsmanship.
he went to his car and did he saran
Yeah,
wrap?
saran wrapped it.
In
Because
Vaseline.
It was like 5 degrees out, so it was gonna freeze like around his car.
Oh.
And, like,
Wow.
I don't know. He said it like damaged the windows or something. Like, He
Yeah.
was like going like hardcore.
Did it like freeze over? Like, did it
Yeah.
create like a shell?
I think Wolf went out there and like took it down before it was able to
Then
like
Nick,
freeze.
Then Wolf was FaceTiming Nick's dad while he was. He's like, Mr. D-Pass, look what your son is doing. It was the funniest thing.
That was definitely
I mean,
my favorite as well.
Yeah, any of those wars between D-Pass and
That's where all the
Wolf.
character went to.
Yeah.
With all the senior when they talk about character like in the locker room, it was those two.
Definitely.
Was it like serious fighting, or were they
It
genuinely
got to
mad
the
at each
point
other?
where they were like actually like pissed off at each
Yeah.
other, but like
At the
they were-
end of the
yeah,
day.
they're all just like friends. So it was
Yeah,
just like
they loved each other. So.
Yeah.
Will the JV fantasy teams? Will that continue?
They
this
will
year?
definitely continue.
Yeah.
I
So we gotta still figure out teams right
Yeah.
now.
When's
I
the
think-
draft?
There's still not. Well, we still don't have like set. I think we're gonna do it after the rebuff scrimmage to kind of see like who's playing on what teams.
Yeah.
And
To get what production?
Mhm.
yeah, and like get a little scouting reported on the guys before.
Are you with
And-
Romac?
Your dad's a
or-
GM. You
yeah.
should be good at this.
I'm
So-
with Matthew Noss,
All right.
the team, and he's with Alex Romac.
I think we'll
so-
have one more team as well, but yeah, I think we'll do it after the rebuff games because like obviously like right now we still don't even know who's gonna be on varsity and who's not gonna
Yeah.
be. So
So
yeah, we'll see.
for all of our listeners who don't know what JV fantasy is, can you guys walk us
So,
through it?
I mean, it's basically
It's fantasy
it's
football,
like fantasy
but in,
football or basketball.
yeah,
But it's just like all the varsity guys have their own teams, and then we draft all the JV guys.
Is it
and-
3 per team?
I
I
guess
thought-
it
no,
depends.
I would.
It
Yeah,
depends how many guys we have this year. Because
last
we
year
had more
was
guys.
3.
Yeah.
I think.
But I think we'll have less. I think we'll have
Less
we'll have
teams,
3
more
teams. We'll
players.
still have 3 teams. but I
Probably
think-
4 players.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 depending on
Is
Yeah.
there?
depending on who all is.
But it's
playing,
like if you score a point, that's 1 point.
it's
Gotcha.
Just 3
points.
points. It's
not,
just
it's not the
points.
advanced
just points,
stats,
okay.
like
It's not
assists,
rebounds,
rebounds.
assists.
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask, how does the
No,
point system
yeah,
work?
no.
Like, if you get 5 rebounds, that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
yeah.
So
And it helps us stay like involved in the JV games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like a lot of varsity teams just kind of jack around in the JV games, but it helps us to stay like focused in and just watching. The
but
JV
sometimes
games.
the coaches get mad because we cheer for certain individuals
Yeah.
just on the
Just
team
go
because
Yeah.
we want.
Instead of the team.
Yeah,
in
but
general.
But
fun times.
I just had a question. I forgot what I was gonna ask.
That happens to me all the time.
Can't
but
remember.
You're not alone. So
Oh, I remember it. Who's the projected first overall pick?
I would say definitely Will Harvey if he plays.
if you,
Varsity
yeah,
or
that's the
JV.
thing. Like we don't know who's gonna be playing JV.
I would
yet.
imagine Harvey
I would
would
say-
play varsity this year.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
gonna be a risky pick
Yeah.
because we only do. Do we do first and second quarter?
Yeah,
just
'cause
first half?
We're only as varsity. We go into the locker room at halftime.
Or we could
Yeah.
do
So
first,
we
second,
just do-
third, but no.
Too many people aren't gonna be watching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
I
Last
think-
year you did first half.
the
I
thing
think,
with
if Harvey definitely plays JV, then.
but
definitely
if he
will.
plays JV, I bet it'll be 2 quarters and it'll be like first and third or something. Because
Yeah.
Armani, you remember last year,
Yeah.
didn't play second quarter at all.
maybe
He-
Melvin too, Carson Melvin.
Yeah,
Because I don't know
Yeah.
what
Has
his
that
situation is gonna be like.
athleticism,
Because he
yeah.
hasn't been at any of the practices yet because of football.
Yeah.
But obviously, if he plays JV, I bet he'll be pretty good too. It's probably him or Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so we were editing, and this is just a disclaimer. The next part of the audio is going to sound really kind of bad. I believe, as my producer Alan calls it, a rat through a tunnel. So just to let you guys know that from here on out, the audio is going to be kind of really bad. So if that will distract you from whatever you're trying to do, then great. All we did was make our HSC versus Westfield game predictions, some other game predictions, shouted out girls basketball and Braden Smith, so you're not really missing a whole lot. But yeah, so if you're gonna continue listening, then enjoy this kind of terrible audio. Who is the most underrated player on the team in your opinion?
I'll go Matthew Noss now. Like Matthew or Charles, but Matthew he puts in the work every day. No one really knows him, and I think he'll be slept on off the bench. Yeah.
I think Charles, obviously he's right about Matt. I think Charles, a lot of people won't know Charles' name coming into the games just because he played JV last year and was kind of in and out of the starting lineup, even on JV. So I think him coming in, he's made a big jump this offseason. So I think it'll just kind of be a fun known community game. So it's definitely helped us win some.
If you had to name a captain on this team, who would it be?
I would say Alex Romack.
Yeah.
I mean, he started his sophomore year first game and just pretty much started for a six-man ever since. He has the most experience on the team, so got to go with Romack.
I have to agree with that. I think he's just definitely one of the most experienced guys in the team. Just because he played on a UA circuit this summer in AAU. I think he could be more vocal as a leader of the team and just in the leadership
I agree,
role. But I think he's definitely the guy I want to to for.
In the attempted podcast yesterday, we made our predictions for certain categories. I'm going to ask you guys for your predictions on these two. Record predictions for this team.
I'm going to go 17-5. 22. I think.
I'll go 16-6.
I feel like one game this year, we're going to have an insane upset. Either of it's
Oh yeah, it's destined to happen.
It's coming. To be honest, I think after those preseason ratings came out, I feel like we need to
I was about to say I saw.
I
those.
like that.
What were the rankings?
I would rather.
I think
we were
we're
like
22nd.
Yeah,
And I would rather be 22nd than top 5 any
That's
day of the
true.
week because
the last time that we were one, we yeah.
exactly, and we will show people that we should be top 5 instead of being 22. So
22 is
that's
terrible. That is awful.
In just 4A2, they probably got 3A teams in the statewide too.
I saw that and I was like, wow.
I mean, when you think of Westfield, you think of course Braden, Cam, all of them.
But now
But now they're gone, so they don't think of anybody.
I'm trying to pull them up.
I know
Cathedral's 1, Carmel was 2, and Ben Davis was 3. In my opinion, I think Ben Davis was, after seeing them this summer, I thought they were the best team
by
in
far.
the state. Yeah, I mean, they beat Cathedral in the summer. Obviously, Cathedral's got some good players, but I think Ben Davis is just like a better team.
I think Cathedral's more 1v1v1v1.
Yeah.
Like more, AAU type, but Ben Davis, they work as a team.
Zionsville and Noble's going up there, rightfully so, because they're all going to be really good.
Yeah,
Obviously,
sure.
they graduated. Both of them graduated better than anybody.
So Carway kind of helped us.
He's not going to be the one for us anymore. Really just for that.
Would Romack be Gordon? Yeah. Or probably a line. Put Romack on the one.
You'd probably guard it.
Garway?
Yeah, because they started Sam and Jared.
Oh my god.
Sam Ormack is like grazing 6'10".
He's like 6'7".
That dude is
But he's like
freaking
Yeah.
I want your opinion. This is just for myself. I'm going to be doing the Hard Knocks thing this year with the team. So I want your opinion. What do you think I should put in there? Like, if there's any, should I put fantasy basketball in there, or should I just keep it strictly with basketball?
I think you can do
I think you make it fun.
Yeah.
Make it, But
I would say, I know you hit me up about the workouts, and we kind of stopped doing them as the season picked up, me and my dad. So I think, but we did a workout a couple days ago, this weekend.
Yeah, me, Charles.
And I think next time we get some guys together, I'll hit you up and we can come get some footage of this training. But
working with Chad is always a pleasure.
yeah, and you'll get a little Chad Buchanan action.
In A's in the background.
One final question. What are you guys going to do to make this season fun? I know last year or this year we lost so many guys that drew people to games like Braden, Cam, maybe even Alex Wolf if you're feeling like that. But what are you guys going to do to make this season fun and make people watch you guys?
I would say at least my goal was to try to build some chemistry between us, because I feel like last year, obviously I feel like the seniors were kind of their own
totally.
It was kind of
it was me.
The other guys
it was me, Romack, and Trey. Then all the seniors.
All the seniors. Yeah. So it wasn't divided, because we were still a very successful team, but we had a lot better players than what we did this year. So I feel like if we're gonna win a lot of games, we just need to build some really good chemistry and play together. like the Warriors kind of like if you take the Warriors, like obviously they have great players, but they just play like so well together and just have great chemistry, which wins them a lot of games.
Yeah.
So.
And being a Rocks boy, I feel like getting in touch with all the other guys, they'll definitely get people. Me and Matthew Noss will get people to show up.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
We will definitely, as the season goes on, we'll definitely have either you guys or whoever we want in for interviews after games. So, thank you for your time and good luck this season.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
We hope you guys enjoyed that little interview with the boys from the basketball team. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did. Now we're going to talk about this past Friday, the football game versus Westfield and Noblesville, the sectional championship. Westfield won the sectional yet again for like the third or fourth straight time, something like that. Yeah. 42-21 Westfield. We really pulled away in the second half. Aiden, what did you like about this game?
The main point you just talked about right there, the second half. We were going in halftime tied 14-14. It was one of those half times where the Noblesville parents were getting hyped and clapping, and the Westfield parents were kind of slouched back and kind of nervous. So Noblesville had the momentum going into the second half.
And they did nothing with it.
Did absolutely nothing with it. Only one touchdown in the second half. Only one score in the second half at all. And that came with a minute left in the game. So very strong performance by the Rocks in the second half. And then you look at the offense, how the offense did, and the special teams. Brody Bam had an onside kick that we recovered to go up 2 scores. Kendall Garnett, amazing night on the ground. He had a hat trick, 3 touchdowns. So combine all those things together, and you get this 42-21 win. Fun fact, Noblesville actually had 19 more total plays than the Rocks, and then had 13 more minutes in possession of time. So you look at that stat and you're like, how did Noblesville not run away with this? You would look at that and think, oh, I thought Noblesville would win this 42-21. But no, the Rocks completely flipped the script. Andrew Liskey had that return. Kendall Garnett, like I said, had those 3 touchdowns. Cole Ballard had a good performance. And I believe he had a passing touchdown. And it was just a great win, great team win. Again, everybody was nervous going into the second half, but Coach Jay Gilbert put out a great game plan, great halftime switches, modifications, and the Rocks ran away with this one, 42-21.
I feel like the defense cannot be understated in this game. Holy crap, they shut down Landon Hughes. He had 7 passing attempts, only 3 were completed. Dylan Thieneman is that guy. He had 1 pass deflection the first time, and he said, I'm going to pick you off the second time. And guess what he did? Picked him off the second time.
And then Hughes didn't throw his way the rest of the game.
It was so funny. I went back and watched the broadcast that we did from Friday on, I believe it was Saturday or Sunday. And after his interception by Dylan, it was so funny. Dylan was on one side of the field at all times, and he just would not pass to him. Like every other pass was a screen or like some little out route. But the defense was really, really freaking awesome. Held Logan Schaffner to 148 yards when he's averaging like 200, somewhere near there, which is great. No one else got above 57 rushing yards for Noblesville, and then receiving, it was locked down. Really just overall great game by Westfield. Kendall Garnett had 109 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think that's the second or third hat trick of the year.
In his second or third time in a row where he's had plus 100 yards and 3 touchdowns.
This is crazy. Cole Ballard with not the best game passing, but rushing, he had 12 carries, 87 yards and a touchdown. 109.3 QB rating, which is the highest that he's had since I believe Avon, or maybe even before that. So overall great game. Andrew Liskey with a punt return touchdown, that was electric. Dylan Thieneman playing well like he always does. But this team looks completely different the way that they did after this first Noblesville game. They are going to give HSE a run for their money tomorrow.
Very, very could be an upset.
Could very well be an upset. There's not a whole lot of upsets in 6A, or potential upsets, I should say. I believe you have Warren Central, Center Grove. Center Grove will probably walk away with a win in that. Brownsburg Cathedral, that's going to be a really good game. Us and HSC, that's going to be a really good game. And then I believe Carroll, Lafayette Jeff, the Bronchos, that's going to be a really good game. So if you're an Indiana high school football fan, you're going to be excited about this Friday.
Yeah, and this regional is going to be very big.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most exciting in a while since we've been here.
There's been rumblings that whoever wins this game will go to state.
Yep.
Because of the.
It'll be very close.
Yeah.
Great win against Noblesville, and that leads momentum into this game this week at HSC. Tomorrow, Friday, at 7 o'clock at HSC. This is going to be such a good game. Sorry, my voice just died there.
We went to a Pacers game last night, folks. It was really fun.
This is going to be such a good game. Hamilton Southeastern is coming off of a pounding win over Fishers, 35-13, which is the team they beat in overtime by 1 point earlier in the season. This is a much improved squad, but you could also argue Westfield is a much improved squad as well going into this one. They met with HSC in week 5 or 6.
Something like that, yeah.
And they lost 26-21, came down to the last drive.
Yeah.
And this is like I said, this is a much improved Westfield defense. Last week, Sam Mefford pointed out a stat that the first 4 games, we let up 28.5 points. Ever since then, 18.5, and that includes our game against HSC and the number 1 team in the state, Brownsburg.
At the time, now it's HSC.
Yeah,
at the time, Brownsburg.
At the time, Brownsburg, but still, very impressive. And the fact that we held the HSC in that game to 26, one of their lowest scoring games of the season, and now we've improved by that much ever since week 4, really shows
looking good.
Really shows the capabilities.
As there's a bell. We're filming this on Thursday, folks. If you don't know, we had finals yesterday, so there's no one in the school, but they're still on a bell schedule
for some reason. But
for some reason, I don't know.
But this is a much improved defense, as I said already 40 times. But yeah, if you're a Westfield fan, it's a 30-minute drive, but this is
so worth it.
So worth it. This is a game that's going to come down to the last minute.
Yeah.
Could be a repeat of last year, last second field goal to seal it. So if you're any fan of Westfield, please show out because we're going to need a huge crowd. Yeah. We need the energy, and that's what we've had the past 2 games against Carmel and Noblesville was that energy. That's what got us across the finish line in both of those games.
The student section, one of the best in the state, as we've seen. So please, if you're anywhere near HSC or if you want to show support for the Westfield football team, show out on Friday. Quickly, one little thing before we get into our score predictions. Westfield had a lot of difficulty in the first HSC game with mistakes. You know, they had 7 penalties to HSC's 5 and 2 more penalty yards. And then they had, Cole didn't have the best game. He had 2 interceptions, no touchdowns thrown, nearly 200 yards. But, I mean, it was not the greatest game by Cole Ballard. I don't think Kendall played really well either. He had 64 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And that game was only Kendall's only second real start. Yeah. And he's only a sophomore. You got to keep that into play.
He certainly will be a factor in this game, as will many players on both sides. I feel like 2 factors for HSC will be Jalen Alexander and Donovan Hamilton. For Westfield, it's Dylan Thieneman and Kendall Garnett.
Yeah, last game, Jalen Alexander, 267 rushing yards on 24 attempts. That's 11.1 yards per carry. Mm-hmm. Not to mention he had 2 touchdowns. So the Westfield defense will have to keep tabs on him, or else he'll make you pay. And he's honestly the X factor for HSC. Who's your X factor for HSC?
You nailed it right on the head, Jalen Alexander. I mean, last time against Westfield, he had 129 yards and 2 touchdowns on 24 carries. So his productivity, I believe, it has stayed around that in the last couple of weeks. Maybe it's gone down a little bit with the rise of Donovan Hamilton, like I said. But I mean, they are mostly a run-first offense from what I've seen on film and from what they've done recently. So this game is going to be really close. What is your score prediction?
Um, I'm gonna go. Like I said, it's gonna come down to the wire. It'll come down to the last drive, potentially the last second, the last play. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Westfield gets it done on the road, 28-24.
That is certainly a really good prediction. Stunner for sure. Folks, I know I've picked some opposing teams in the past. Some have called them the Ops. But this game, it's going to be hard not to pick HSE. Too bad that I can pick whoever I want. I'm going to go Westfield 35, HSE 13.
Wow. 35
Defense gets it done.
35-13.
35-13 Westfield.
Wow. Okay.
Kendall Garnett's going to have a really good game. Cole's going to have 2 passing touchdowns. Defense is going to lock up. Dylan Thieneman's going to do his job as field general on that defense. And we're going to get a big statement win going into the semi-state versus probably Carroll, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a minute.
So, yeah, 35-13 for Evan, 28-24 for me. Completely different
Yes.
score predictions, but
Well,
also,
whenever I say there's going to be a blowout, it's never a blowout. Whenever I think it's going to be a really close game, it's a blowout. So I'm never right.
yeah, I was just about to say that 56-7 Noblesville score earlier in the year.
Was that Noblesville or Avon? I think
It was Noblesville.
Noblesville? Okay.
That panned out to be 34-33.
Yeah.
A lot closer. I mean, I guess you got the total points, right?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Um,
Just real quick, I don't know if you guys know this, but a couple Fridays ago we did ESPN College Game Day.
Yeah.
And real quick, I just want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Westfield Living,
Yes.
for making that happen. Without them, that would not have been possible. And we had that idea in our heads for a long time, ever since, I would say, episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And they made it happen. So quick shout out to Westfield Living. Thank you so much.
They do great work over there. And now we're going to get into the other 6A regionals score prediction. So just off the top of your head, Brownsburg Cathedral.
Oh my gosh.
I'll go Brownsburg 41-28.
I'm going to go Brownsburg. Brownsburg just put up 56.
That is true.
I'm going to say Brownsburg.
Granted, it was on Avon. But
Yeah. Brownsburg 49, Cathedral 35.
That's solid. I like that a lot, actually. Let's go with Center Grove, Warren Central.
Center Grove 28, Warren Central 17.
I'll go Center Grove 45, Warren Central 14.
Wow.
Warren Central is not that good of an opponent against someone like Center Grove. And Center Grove is just really dominating, so I feel like they'll get it done there. And then the winner of our Westfield versus HSE game will play the winner of Carroll versus Lafayette. Jeff, who you got in that one?
I think I'm going to go Carroll. They've been really consistent throughout the past 3 years. We've played them, and I think almost every year.
Except for I believe it was sophomore year, we played Homestead. That's
Homestead,
right.
yeah. Homestead, yeah. But we've met with them the past couple years, and I think maybe our freshman year too.
Mm-hmm. Freshman year we lost to Carmel, but
yeah.
We beat them this year, so.
So yeah, this year and last year we met with Carmel in the regional.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna get it done against Lafayette Jeff. I'm gonna go Carroll 35, Lafayette Jeff 17.
The thing about Lafayette Jeff is they're I believe 10-2 or maybe 9-2.
Yeah, but who have they played?
They've played their 2 losses are to Cathedral and Harrison, which are 2 completely better football teams.
Yeah, that is true.
So for that reason, and not that reason solely, but for that reason, I will go Carroll 38, Lafayette Jeff 24.
Yeah, that's respectable.
That is our predictions for football. Quick little shout outs here. We're going to get into girls basketball. They're 3-0 on the season so far. They have beat North Central, who is a very, very good and consistent basketball team, 46-44.
I was talking to one of the players, Ellie Kelleher, and I think she said that that's the first time that they've beat them, and I think ever since she's been here. She's a junior. So
I would not be surprised. They are one of the best girls basketball teams in the state. So great win, Lady Rocks. And then Pendleton Heights, 45-20, just 4 short days afterwards. So that was a great win. And then on Tuesday, the 8th, just 2 short days ago, we took a 55-15 win over Tribe West Hendricks. Granted, they were not the best team, but the shooting and the defense was there. They play Saturday at 1:30 at home versus Lawrence Central. Go out and support Our Lady Rocks if you are not doing anything. But they start the season off 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean,
very impressive start. It's looking very promising.
That bodes very well for later on in the season.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say one last shout out here, Braden Smith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Purdue.
My gosh. Braden, if you're listening, you played awesome on Tuesday. 7 points, but you played. I mean, it was everywhere else was just awesome.
Also like 7 assists and a handful of rebounds as well.
He had 7 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 defensive, 1 offensive. I mean, he was everywhere.
Yeah.
His defense certainly showed. 7 steals, I believe, is the most by a freshman in Purdue history and second most in team history in a single game.
Very impressive.
So to start off your season like that, granted it was against Milwaukee, but to start off your season like that and have your freshman show out, with Fletcher, Lawyer as well, 17 points. He had 5 3-pointers made. He's dangerous. To have your freshman show like that, I mean, that has to be really promising.
Yeah. He has a lot of potential.
Yeah. So I believe that will be it. Any last words?
Nope. Just show out to the HSC game. We're going to need every single soul at Westfield there.
Oh my goodness.
See your Rocks upset the Royals. Number 1 team in the state. It's going to be a big one.
Folks, if you want the banner, you got to show out. I mean,
yes.
You see it all over social media. Who wants the banner?
The banner is on the line for this.
We would be the first.
We need to travel well.
We would be the first school in the banner history to receive it twice if we win it on Friday. So, show out. It'll be
How long has that been a thing? The banner.
I would only assume. I think like 4 or 5 years.
And we've already won it once.
I know Cathedral won it 1 year. We won it 1 year, and then
I think Garen might have.
Garen maybe won it.
I can't remember.
Anyways, that'll be it from us here in the Sprite Cranberry Westfield Studios.
Our proud We Wish sponsor. We wish we were sponsored by Sprite.
Sprite Cranberry sponsor. All right, peace out, guys.
Peace.